Greetings to all our viewers. My name is Guga, your host, and welcome to Enlightenment Hub.
The name is Katlego Smosh office.
My name is Faith Zandile Guga, and I'm an aspiring entrepreneur as well as a motivational speaker and a co-founder at Action on Behavioral Change here in Botswana. Thank you.
Do I have to turn on the video?
I think that is up to you.
Okay. Let me check it out. Okay. Oh, no. Be disrupting. Okay, alcohol is the enemy, right? Alcohol is the enemy. That is what we have been brought here as a group of participants, I think about 6 participants here to talk about, right? And I'd like to observe protocol and say good day to you all. The name is Katlego Smosh Office. As I had just said, I am a motivational speaker and an actor in Bots. Right. So moving on to our main contention here, which is alcohol the enemy? I've chosen to believe or to say yes to this motion, to say yes, alcohol is the enemy. And with my speech on how it is an enemy or why I say it is an enemy, I will try to prove or show why I'm based on alcohol being the enemy, right? So last year, actually, or not last year, rather, I think 2019, our country was hard hit with a sudden resurgence of COVID-19. And with such, we saw different kinds of problems arising. We saw different kinds of things being stopped, and we saw different kinds of things coming to a halt, right? And then we begin to realize that as much as we could host some things as problematic, we still have to realize their power. Why do I choose to talk about COVID-19 in the situation is because of the alcohol ban that we saw in the recent actions or the recent activities, which has brought about a few, or as a matter of fact, huge problems, even if it might just be one problem, huge problems amongst our country, right? We choose to recognize, or I choose to recognize alcohol as a key player in this country. It is a key player in a sense that it creates jobs. It is a key player in the sense that it helps that particular Botswana who has not had a chance to go and study, who has not had a chance to go and attain a particular job at a higher paying standard, or a first class job, to be able to work, right? Now, I would like people to look at that and say, okay, it's fine. We understand that alcohol ban has created a problem in our country. Has alcohol ban has created a problem in our country, but I would like us to recognize the problems or the issues brought forth by alcohol as an enemy to our country. One, alcohol has created what I would like to call a difference or an indifference of understanding, or has created a problem in the mindsets of the youth to not be able to create a particular lifestyle for themselves. Nowadays, when we say lifestyle, when you sit down with a young Motswana and ask them, what is a lifestyle? They're going to sit down and tell you that it's soft life. This so-called soft life is the whole idea that one should be living a lavish lifestyle. One should be living a lifestyle which requires you to be in a party, which requires you to be drinking, which requires you so that by the end of this week you should have enough money. You should have enough money to be able to attain alcohol or some particular beverage, to be able to attain a ticket to a particular party, so that you could be able to have fun and be able to scream out in videos and say, I'm living a soft life, or this is what we call soft life, right? So this whole issue of indifference on how we should be thinking, on how we should be trying to create a particular lifestyle for ourselves, to say, if I have one pillar in my pockets, what do I do with that? Do I take that
Seems like he has a minor problem.
community at large? You were saying? Okay, as I continue, that is the kind of issue that should be taught to the youth out there, to say, if therefore, with that information or with those issues, I would like us to identify that the youth of today has a different from what we are supposed to be having, from what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be increasing the ideas that as a country we are supposed to be yearning to be a first class country, which I believe that our country has the much needed effect to arrive at. But because of the constant inability to think, because when one holds money, they say alcohol. When one has money, they say, I want to live that particular soft life where I have fun. Ladies and gentlemen, let us look at this few facts. The youth and the middle-aged people are the most consumers of alcohol, and yet they are the ones who are highly unemployed. Have we ever asked ourselves, where do they get this money? Where do they get this income to be able to say, each and every weekend I'm going to drink, each and every weekend I'm going to drink? If we were going to sit down at UB and ask them, what do you do with the allowance that you receive, they would tell you there is a Friday with me patakani, where they host a party, where they host enjoyment parties to drink their lives out. Have we ever sat down to think, okay, fine, if we were to try to create a budget for a student living in UB who's being housed by UB, who's having each and everything be provided to them except for food and toiletry, we would realize that the amount that they need and the amount that they could be using, the amount that they're receiving, they could be using. Everybody has a way that they could be creating a better lifestyle for themselves to try and better this country. There is a lot of problems that this country is facing: unemployment, high numbers of crime. But have we asked that almost each and every time when a member of the youth is involved in crime, when a member of the youth is involved in a problem, when a member of the youth is dying, it's because they were using alcohol, it's because they were involved in substance abuse, ladies and gentlemen. Now I want us to realize one thing, ladies and gentlemen: the youth are the most consumers of alcohol. And if there was no alcohol, if there was no point in which they were using alcohol, we would be seeing a better lifestyle for the youth. They would be trying to create better lives for themselves. What do I mean by better lives? I mean youth which is business orientated, to say, if I have this kind of money, I can make a much more money. But nowadays, when you talk to a youth or a member of the youth, you listen to them, they're going to tell you that I need to make money for the weekend. I need $100 to go to this particular event. I need 1 million to go to that particular event. I need 1 million to go to another country so that I can have fun, so that I can drink my ass out, as they would say. Excuse the language, my people. Now, 7,959,137 liters of pure alcohol per year is consumed in Botswana. That is as a research that was done by the Alcohol Consumer Survey Botswana for International Alliance for Responsible Drinking. Now, if that much amount is being drunk each and every year, imagine how much money is going into that. And I'm pretty much sure that it's not equivalent to one pula. I'm pretty much sure it's equivalent to 30 pula to say I have to buy one drink. And imagine if 100 people are buying this kind of alcohol. Imagine how much money is being spent. Couldn't we say we are redirecting the money that we have made to a different purpose? We are redirecting the money that we have made to a different issue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say one thing. Each and everybody has a choice to what they believe in, and each and everybody has a choice to do what they want. But how are we trying to teach our kids when we want to say they should just focus on alcohol because that's what their bigger brothers and sisters are doing? Because it's the common norm to say drinking is the thing. Drinking makes you look cool. Drinking makes you that little bit of a person who's over the edge. Right? Now, ladies and gentlemen,
Mr. Smosh,
I would. Yes, sir.
I hear your point of discussion that alcohol is the enemy. Because of time, I'd like you to tell us what you think can be done. Because clearly you are saying it's the enemy, but then what do you think can be done to solve this?
Thank you, sir. Now, before you interrupted me, I had said, what are we teaching our children? I will always preach this. Education is the key. No matter how hard you try to force somebody, the way to go. This is the mission, but rather this is fight that alcohol is going to be a problem, and therefore he spilling alcohol. Now we need to show children that importance to say alcohol is not a very good thing. Alcohol is a very dangerous thing that might even destroy our futures. So we need to educate our kids from a younger age that alcohol is not the way to go. Not with just telling them, but doing it, showing them that alcohol is indeed not the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Smosh saying that alcohol is indeed the enemy and that education of the youth and the young upcoming generation will solve our problem. I would like to hear from other participants what they would like to say about what Mr. Smosh has just laid out.
Yeah, I hear what she has to say about taking any choice that that you might be free into taking, but isn't that what we're talking about? The fact that alcohol is there in response to what could have been done, which was better. The fact that there is alcohol gives one an idea that I am to spend money there, or at least that's what I think. Thank you. But other than that, I'm satisfied with what she had to say.
Okay, thank you. So what she just said is that we shouldn't be blaming alcohol as the enemy, but we should be blaming the people who use it irresponsibly. We can't seem to get Kate, so I'd like Ms. Faith to go on and lay down her case while we try to get the others to enter the meeting.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'd like to greet everybody who is watching and everybody who is part of this discussion. First and foremost, I would love to say I'm saying alcohol is not the enemy. I'm saying individuals, people that consume alcohol are their own enemies. The reason being that the whole reason why alcohol was banned in Botswana, my take, is because of most people's behavior after consuming alcohol. So if most people would know their limits and not drink to get drunk or to black out, as most of them normally brag themselves that they're going to drink till they black out, then I think if people drank irresponsibly, as well as knowing their limit of alcohol, then that way maybe alcohol would not be banned in this time, because what they're looking at is the welfare of the people. Reason being that when most people are drunk, they tend to forget to wear their masks. Actually, they remove their masks. Some don't even wear it properly. They bring it down. They touch each other. They don't social distance. Most of them, wherever they go, they will forget to sanitize because of the alcohol taking over them. right? So hence the alcohol being banned, not because the alcohol is a problem, but because people that consume alcohol are the problem. So it's not banned because it exists in the country. It's banned because of how people tend to behave. Most people tend to behave when they are drunk or blacked out, as they normally say, because when you black out most of the time, you don't even know what you're doing. So God knows what you're doing, what you will do when you are drunk, right? And then economically wise, yes, it's a strain to ban alcohol, and but welfare wise, it was a good move, it was a good decision, because people's lives come first. But it's not because the alcohol is the problem, it's how people consume the alcohol that is the problem. Because you find that in most countries, or in some countries, they do not drink alcohol as much as we do. In Botswana, they don't drink it as much as we do. They drink it with limit. They know their limit. They know that they don't drink to black out and not remember what happened yesterday and feel it's fun to have that kind of a situation in your life. But they drink to just ease themselves, to just have fun, to relax and go to bed if they have to and whatever. Because most of the time they know that if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I drink excessively, this is what is going to happen. I am going to end up behaving in a certain way, because we all know that there are certain behaviors that people tend to display when they're drunk. They tend to urinate on themselves. They tend to rape cases. Some of them, they come from alcohol influence. Drinking and driving accidents, they come from that as well. Some people tend to say, when I'm drunk, but which is not true, because scientifically it's not proven that people see clearly when they are drunk. If that was the case, then that would be a prescription for everyone to drink who is driving so that they can see clearly. But it's even written on the bottle itself, do not drink and drive. Be safe. So if we decide to be irresponsible and drink and drive, why should we blame the alcohol? Before you even consume the alcohol, it's even written on the bottle that you are drinking alcohol, that do not drink and drive, but we still decide to drive anyway. So according to me, it's up to us as individuals to say, what am I going to do about this whole situation of me wanting to drink alcohol? I know alcohol does not treat me right if I take it excessively. And what am I going to do about it? But if one decides to just continue and feel it's fun to black out and be told what they did yesterday when they did not see themselves, or tomorrow see themselves going to court because they have raped someone without them knowing that, there's so many things that happen. Or you have killed someone because you're under the influence of alcohol, you are drinking and driving. So such things, if one does not self-introspect, which is what we lack most of the time, we do not self-introspect to say, these are the things that I'm doing in my life, and I should do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to work on these things, because they tend to become my weaknesses. I need to work on them so that these things do not take over me, I take over them, right? And then the other thing that I would like to add is that too much of anything is dangerous. So if, as Botswana or as young people or whoever that drinks alcohol, we do not govern how we take things, how we consume things, then we can't blame food to say, if I eat too much food, I'm going to get fat. And then you start blaming food, you say food is not right. Food, there's nothing wrong with food. The problem is the person consuming food. So which means we need to work on ourselves to say, I know if I do this much of this, this is what will happen. Because it's not like we don't know, we know. But because we just have this mindset that no, we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in our own way, we just want to blame people. And this is one thing that we are mostly, I think most of Botswana, if not less, have this tendency of wanting to do things and not own up to the consequences, because whatever you do has consequences, right? So we can make decisions to become irresponsible and want to blame the things that we did, that they are the ones that have a problem, when we are the ones who actually have a problem. Otherwise, in that way, we will never grow as a nation. That way, we'll never grow as individuals, because we'll always want to play the blame game, to say, if there's a problem, I blame this person. I had nothing to do with it. If this thing was not there, I would have not, if this thing was not there, I would have not done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that thing, whether it's there or not, you need to be sound enough. You need to understand yourself enough, know yourself enough to say, this thing, is it okay for me? How will it benefit me? And if you see that it doesn't benefit you in any way, it doesn't help you in any way, it makes you even more broke, you're not succeeding in life because most of your money you're spending it on alcohol, then make a decision to say, I'm going to stop drinking alcohol. I'm going to reduce drinking alcohol, or whatever decision that you make that will help you to work on your future goals and to succeed in life. Because alcohol has no problem. You are the one that has problem. And we can't move or remove alcohol just because you are failing to control yourself. So if one is failing to control themselves, that is why there is what we call AA meetings, rehab for alcoholics. Go for AA meetings and just get into rehab so that you learn to control yourself or stop drinking alcohol at all. And the other thing I feel is just the mindset that we have. My solution is that let us empower young people or people that are into alcohol let us empower them on what the things that they should look at, learn how to prioritize. That's the word that I was looking for. They should learn how to prioritize, put all the whole lifestyle on a silver plate and say, okay, this is my life. This is what I do. This is what I don't do. And how is this benefiting me? If I'm to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will it harm me in any way or what? So the problem is that we lack to be informed, or maybe I should say, maybe we are ignorant, because I think there's just so much information out there. These alcohols that we drink, they are written, no under 18, do not drink and drive. Even slogans that BW has, there's so much information that is trying to encourage people not to overdrink so that they can continue drinking and still have fun, but people decide to ignore it. So I feel the best that we can do is just for us to empower people to self-introspect on themselves as individuals, to say, is this good for you or not? And teach them the consequences of drinking alcohol. Alcohol has its own consequences. There's liver diseases that one can get when they drink excessive alcohol, more especially they are issues of being broke, like Mosh was saying, that you tend to not achieve a lot in life because you're spending most of your money on alcohol. Let us show them these consequences, that as a person, you tend to age faster when you drink a lot of alcohol than when you don't drink alcohol, or when you drink less alcohol. So these are the things that some people don't even know. That is why when you see someone in the streets that drinks a lot of alcohol, that you even think they're much older than the age that they are. It's because of how the alcohol has had so much effect on their body. So they need to understand what alcohol does to their body, so that as they continue to drink, it's either they decide that I don't care about that, it's my life, I'm going to live it the way I want, and still continue to drink it the way that they want. But at the end of the day, most, or if not 1 or 2 people, they will sit down and introspect and say, okay, but honestly, I want to age gracefully and still have fun and still have my liquor or whatever. But if people don't want to take up and own up to themselves, then there's nothing that we can do but continue to try and assist those who feel they need the help. So that is my take, that alcohol is not the enemy. Us as individuals are the ones that are the enemy.
As you were saying, that some people actually choose, people actually know, most of Botswana know what they should be doing. So one of the participants in our survey said that alcohol all along, it has been an enemy, but then when it got to the point where COVID came, the people who drink alcohol now they had to choose, but now their choices affected everyone instead of themselves because they were spreading the virus somehow with their acts. So yes. Now, the real question is that, is the ban working? The alcohol ban, is it working? Because accidents are still ongoing due to alcohol. People are still drinking unregistered labels of alcohol. Some are making alcohol, which is killing them. And some people are still drinking alcohol. I don't know where they get them. I was in the mall a few days ago in Galo. When I left by the parking lot, I saw a man holding a can, a black label can, drinking. Is the alcohol ban working, or is it just increasing the black market, the black market of alcohol?
Well, like I'm saying,
we can all participate in answering those, all participants.
Okay, let me start on that one. I think it's partially working. I would say it's partially working because not everyone has that access to the black market alcohol, right? And not that they can't access it, but they choose not to, some of them. But I feel it has reduced the level of drinking in the country, but it doesn't mean people are not drinking. Some who are drinking, they drink at home. They buy the alcohol and start to drink at home. They're drinking at home. But some tend to do the session or parties, as some may call them. And that is not right. But like I'm saying, it all boils down to us now trying to empower our individuals in our country to say, look, as much as you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but at the end of the day, this is not helping us. This is not helping the community. You shouldn't only think about yourself, think about other people as well. After you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to conduct COVID, and then you're going home, you're going to interact with other people, innocent people who did not go and drink alcohol, and then you're going to start spreading the alcohol when it is not necessary. So I feel it's partially working, but also it's not working because people, even the officials that we call Mapodisi, some of them, they even sell the liquor. So
yes, because the people who enforce are also people, just like the rest of us.
Exactly, and they drink the alcohol itself. So you find that as much as people get caught at the borders trying to bring in illegal alcohol into the country and stuff like that from Zimbabwe or whichever country, at the end of the day, these same people take that same alcohol and still sell it to the people. So it also goes to now our own officials being disciplined to say a law has been put and we are going to enforce it. So if the people who are supposed to be enforcing the law are the ones breaking the law, what more of people who are just in the society? So it starts with the leaders themselves, because these officials are leaders. They are our leaders. That's why they're supposed to lead us to say, do this, don't do this. So if them themselves are the ones selling it, then it's going to partially work, because everyone is now, almost anyone who wants access to alcohol can get it.
Okay, so one of the questions also was, maybe we are just looking at the people who drink alcohol and we are ignoring the fact that they have reasons. There are things which cause them to actually get and end up drinking alcohol. Shouldn't we consider those and try to tackle them instead of blaming the alcohol? Other participants, is there anybody who would like to say something? Continue the question I asked before of, is the ban working? Smosh, Phemo, Gisho.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I didn't quite hit your question to her properly. So you
Which
just
question?
please repeat the one you just replied to.
Okay, the one I was asking was, is the ban working? The alcohol ban, is it working or is it just making things worse?
Well, one factor we should consider is that the alcohol that's being drunk right now is not being brought in by in legal ways. Therefore, people are smuggling that alcohol into the country. But one thing that could cause is also the introduction of new infections into the country, to the fact that those smugglers don't have hearing. You're not sure that they test or like they make sure that they don't have the virus. They could be just smuggling alcohol from countries that have new and dangerous variants, which may then enter the country through smuggling. Therefore, this whole ban is not helping, but rather making things worse.
And
Other
also
than
there are some
that,
cases of border jumping to bring the alcohol
yes,
in.
exactly.
Go
And
on.
I haven't border jump. I was looking for corona, like they have tests, so and you don't have that authority that they have made sure that they don't have the.
Okay, Smosh, do you have anything to say concerning the alcohol ban? Smosh? Seems like we can't get him. So let's get back to Faith concerning the question of the reasons behind the consumption of alcohol.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier on, that we should empower people so that they can self-introspect. Because when one gets to self-introspect, they tend to ask themselves, why do I drink alcohol so much? So if you find that most of them, it's peer pressure, some of them it's stress, some of them it's, I don't know, there's so many other reasons. But one thing that I have noticed is that most young people is due to peer pressure and trying to fit in with other people so that or they are work or whatever language that may be used to them to say they are not good enough to be hanging around with them. So because one will be trying to be a people pleaser, we should just teach people to learn not to be people pleasers, live their lives according to how they can live it best without having to do things that are beyond them, so that they just try and please people and have harsh consequences at the end of the day. So there are reasons why some people drink alcohol. Some people just drink it for fun. They just drink it for fun. But it's like I'm saying, if people are empowered more, we can put more edutainment ways of trying to inform them of consequences of what happens when they drink too much alcohol, and actually even show them some of the things that these alcohols have in them, so that they know how much damage these things are doing to them. Because it's so funny how even you can tell people how these things will harm them, they still continue. Take, for example, a cigarette, it's written it can cause cancer, but people still smoke it anyway. So it's up to it's up to an individual to honestly just make a decision. But I think it will be better they make well-informed decisions with proper information, because most of them don't have proper information, and they just tend to mislead themselves, and some just drown themselves into that. Because right now, if you can notice, in Botswana, counseling is seen as, I would say, they tend to say, meditation, things that can help solve their problems. They tend to say, we don't do that, you know, and that is what is killing most of us. Let us make it a normal thing to meditate, to go for counseling and seek advice and seek help, seek mentorship, so that we are able to tackle all these issues. And I think that way it will help us see the alcohol consumption going down a bit, because now people will not be drinking to lebala for that time, but they'll be drinking just to relax or just for leisure, not to try and drown their sorrows on alcohol.
Wouldn't we say that alcohol becomes the enemy at some point? Let's say a person at the beginning is their choice, but then as time goes on, addiction kicks in. Doesn't it become the enemy then?
Like I was saying earlier on, that you can't blame the consequences on alcohol. Because at the end of the day, when that person drank that alcohol, they knew that if I drink excessively, at some point I'm going to be addicted. They knew there's what we call alcohol addiction. So you can't blame alcohol to say, because alcohol does not say, drink me, or if you don't drink me, I'll insert myself into you. It doesn't force you. It's just there. You are the one that it puts it inside. So as an individual, you need to take ownership for your own life. This is where I was starting to say, at the end of the day, we'll start playing the blame game to say, alcohol is the one that is making me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, it's a problem. The question is, now, the problem is not the alcohol. The problem was you. You could not limit yourself. You know what I get a 6-pack, I'm starting to lose it. So which means you should drink less than a 6-pack. But because we are people, we don't want to do that. This is what I was talking about, trying to impress, to show them what you know very well about. At the end of the day, you're doing that almost every weekend. That is being irresponsible. You don't have money for food. You don't have money for rent, but you have money for alcohol, which is what Mosh was saying. But it's not because of the alcohol. It's your love for alcohol that is the enemy, not the alcohol that is the enemy.
Okay, so let's blame the user, not the two.
Yeah.
Okay, Gisho, would like to have your point of view on the topic.
Okay, on the alcohol ban, or generally message to
The whole thing.
Okay. My conclusion, the conclusion that I drew from everything that has been happening is that the alcohol, the ban on, first of all, I'll talk about the ban on alcohol. It was rather not an issue of controlling the amount of infection. Maybe at first that was the agenda, but its main purpose was generally not getting to satisfy the president's pride. That's why his main focus, I guess, was on the KBL case and making public statements such as, "I'm the president. You should remember that." It just shows what the real issue wasn't to prioritize the lives of Botswana and really to control the infection, but rather to satisfy his own pride and not make it seem like he's being controlled by companies. But the effects of all of this is not only the whole illegal sale of alcohol, but also we should consider the amount of jobs that people are losing. The virus has done already much damage on the economy, and generally a lot of people have already lost their jobs and are struggling to really survive generally. Now, by banning alcohol and really making a restriction that won't allow people to earn a living is is really affecting most Botswana actually, as KBL has employed a large number of people to work in the factories, and yeah, so he's not really helping the people of the Botswana in any way. Other than that, if you look at the statistics of the amount of people that have been infected, the death, the banning alcohol hasn't really changed anything. Therefore, there's not really much evidence that can support the idea that alcohol may cause a high rate of infection or like cause this, because banning alcohol only makes things worse, and it's really your choice to stay home. Yes.
Concerning the issue you just stated, that the ban was to show that who's boss. The case that KBL sued against the government, wasn't it done after the alcohol had been banned?
It was done after alcohol had been.
Did you think that the whole thing was just to protect Botswana?
I do not think so, based on the fact that there's no evidence to actually show whether statistics, there's really nothing to show that no, Botswana has benefited in this way. The amount of infections has reduced, rather things have just gotten worse.
Okay, continue. The others will comment on those.
Okay, other than that, I'd say but in order to really fight this whole situation, it's really an inward thing. It's really your choice to minimize your movements, to protect yourself. Even when you're drinking yellow, you can easily hella maintain social distancing, and just really have fun, but really staying safe. It's really not that hard. So putting the blame on alcohol would not be reasonable, and it's better to really say that people and their discipline and their sense of self-control is really the issue, and alcohol shouldn't be banned on that basis, because it's doing much more harm than it is good, and it's really not doing any good really. But yes, that's what I'd say.
Now, excluding the COVID issue, if we said there wasn't COVID and we were having this discussion, what would you say about alcohol?
Alcohol in general?
Yes.
Alcohol isn't the enemy. I'd say alcohol actually does much more than good, other than creation of jobs. It also helps people just relax. It's like most of us have made friends maybe chilling at a bar, or like just buying a kortinyana in a shop. It's like it really brings people together. So it's not really a bad thing. The problem is it becomes a bad thing when taken in excess, and when it is taken by someone who does not have self-control, who does not have discipline. That is the thing. Alcohol isn't bad. It's not bad. And if taken in moderation and you really control yourself and not really drink too much alcohol, then it won't really have that much of a huge impact on your body. But if it's taken in excess, we all know the effects of alcohol on the body, such as liver damage, kidney problems, stuff like that. When it comes to young people, I'd say young people, but it's not really. I mean, I heard Mrs. Faith when she said it's peer pressure, but I wouldn't really say peer pressure, because you have to have a stand. as a person, or no, I don't drink or I drink. If people offer you a drink and you take it, not so bad, because as much we may blame it on those people, like no, the influencing the peers have a choice. They have free will. You have a choice or no, I want to drink or I don't want to drink. If you choose to take that drink, so bad. But now you're given the opportunity to actually try it out. Now, I'd say social media actually has a huge impact on how people drink alcohol. There are so many trends of like, hey, cocktails to try out, challenges, drinking competitions. There's so many things that really, I'd say, influence teenagers and young kids to drink, because like social media has a very, very, very large impact on us youth, more than we think.
Don't you think that is peer pressure at its best? Because most people will drink alcohol today. When you ask them, they'll tell you that at some point in life they were saying, "I'll never drink alcohol, I'll never touch that thing," but now they are addicts. Don't you think that peer pressure is the main player there?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it peer pressure. Well, this is how it is. If you want to do something, or no, I want to try this, but I'm sort of scared, or like I'm skeptical about actually trying it out. And you're given the opportunity to actually now try it out. You see, like if you're on social media and maybe when I just had your own thoughts, like, no, maybe I want to try alcohol at some point. Social media will simply validate the opinions you already had. You already had those thoughts that, nah, I might want to drink alcohol, but I'm not really sure. I've heard of its effects. But like now seeing on social media, people glorifying it, people drinking, people posting pictures, it now validates or no. I think it's actually, it's normal and it's okay. It's really just validating what you already wanted to do. I know people that haven't drank a single alcohol and right now they're like 30, then the 40s, and that person just didn't want to drink. And that was really their choice, you know?
Okay. So as you are saying that the people are the problem, how do you think the problem can be fixed?
How the problem can be fixed. First of all, I like to say it's not going to take a short time.
Basically,
it might take a very long
message
time
can you give?
because it's become like a culture, like something people have. As young people, what message would I give to young people?
Yes,
on the
concerning
issue?
alcohol.
I'd say they should have self-control. As much as we can talk and encourage them, or no, don't drink. If you're gonna drink in moderation. It's your choice as a person. You can take also the river, but you can force it to drink water, you know? So like, I'd advise them to have that self-control, have that discipline, or no, I'm gonna drink maybe this amount. If I drink this, it's gonna be too much. So I'd rather just drink this, be casual, be cool, you know? Because we've talked, you tried to educate them on the effects of alcohol. They've seen statistics, road accidents, everything has been presented to them, but it's really their choice. And I'd just say that they should have that self-control, that thing, or no, I'm going to control myself. I'm not going to drink a lot of alcohol. I'm just going to be a casual drinker and then just be drink it in moderation, you know. Other than that, especially with this whole corona situation, they should really tone down the frequency of how they go out, because I've seen people posting on the statuses, hey, there's a party there, there's a party there, we're gonna drink. I think for now, since like it's really become a big issue, people are really dying, and most of these young people have old people from malapeng a bona. And those elderly people are more at risk of passing away due to the virus than them. Therefore, they should really tone down the drinking they do, really tone down how they go out. They should really reduce that for this period of time, you know, in order to really not put the people at the homes at risk. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Other participants, is there anyone who'd like to say something about what Gisho has just said?
Okay, I would like to add something.
Yes, please go on.
I heard him talking about peer pressure not being really the problem. I feel it's part of the problem. It's not entirely the problem. The reason being why it is part of the problem is that most of us don't know who we are. We don't understand ourselves. We don't, like he was saying that people should really try. It's not hard to take alcohol in moderation. It's not hard to just social distance, stay at home, drink your liquor at home, or whatever way that you can still have your liquor and not affect other people. I feel if one doesn't understand themselves and they're all about, there are some people that are all about what the congregation says, I move with it. They don't have a stand to say, what am I saying about this? So some people have a problem with knowing who they are and not wanting to fit in. The reason being that they feel they'll become loners. People, they tend not to be, not to want to have different opinions from what most people are thinking because they feel they'll be left out or they'll not be cool enough. Those things still exist. As much as we might feel they don't exist, they so much exist. And just that we don't call it peer pressure nowadays. Kana re go peer pressure when re re go junioring hale go primary go sinara we feel you can't have peer pressure. Indeed, it's still there. Even in adults, ugula a situation whereby there are some people where longer habana plan. They never have planned for weekend or for plan Monday to Friday. That's it. But then ka weekend hana plan. We metsi mongwe go rata re planning about you like about her planning. They don't have a plan. Such people, you'll find that they drink excessively. They can't find it okay to just have fun on them by themselves, have some me time, or just go chill somewhere, go to the bar, sit there. Eventually someone will come, or you'll find people, you talk to them, meet new people. Like he was saying, alcohol is not really a problem. We've met new people. We have socialized, networked with people. We've shown ourselves love amongst each other as Botswana through such functions where there's alcohol consumption. But I feel at the end of the day, there are some people by Longkore. It's not like you know, there'll be that pressure from people, and because you feel okay, if I don't do this, these guys will think I'm not cool enough. If I don't do this, people will think I'm not Ayoba or whatever. And then that person starts to consume it because of that. It's not like they've got self-esteem issues. These are small issues that we don't talk about, that most people don't know about. Where people have self-esteem issues. Hey, I can't. Some people how to come and talk on this platform. Hey, something confidence. Why can't you speak of that? You get what I mean? So that's where getting peer pressure and even not if a person what more of her they want to look cool, they want to feel cool because they feel they are not themselves certain things. So that is my take to say you should also look at it in that way to say as much as there was peer pressure, it's not like people wanted to do that, but it's about people having self-esteem issues. That is my take on what he had said.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody who would like to comment on what Gisho had said?
Yes, there was an issue that was raised earlier on about the creation of problems with the alcohol ban, right? I was trying to say, with creating a new law, there's always the ideology that that law would then be broken, right? And therefore, with the alcohol ban, as ma'am has just said, it has solved the problem of alcohol drinking. It has curbed that. But at the end of the day, we have the fact that it has created a problem of black markets. People have started selling alcohol in a much hidden way. They did not stop, but they just continued and just continued on doing it from the dark, right? And therefore, I feel that with creation of laws, there's always going to be that simple idea that when you create a law, there's always somebody bound to break that law in relation to that.
Okay, thank you. You want
I'd
to say
like
something? Go on.
A point.
Go on.
About what Madden just said. I'd like to say I think I raised my expectations high for the youth, and I think her point is quite valid, as some people don't really have that thing or that stand or no, I'm not gonna do this. They're easily led on, and that's why they end up doing things like smoking. Other than drinking, they end up doing things like smoking, joining gangs, not because they want to baba. I withdraw that statement, but simply because they're easily influenced. Because they don't necessarily have that confidence or that esteem to be like, no, I know what I want, and I'm not going to be controlled by other people. Therefore, I like to say she is right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seems like there is nothing. Sadly, we had 3 participants who couldn't join us. That will join us next time. So I'd like all of us present to just say our last words, our last advices to the youth and Botswana at large concerning alcohol. Problems as well. Smosh, I was saying that we are coming to the end, so I'd like you to say some last words, some advice to the youth and Botswana at large concerning alcohol.
Okay, thank you so much. First things first, thank you to everybody who showed, thank you to every participant, and thank you for giving us this platform to actually try to voice out our ideas on alcohol and how it can be curbed. Now, the main message out there to be passed is, let us enjoy our lives and try to live our lives to the best. Let us enjoy alcohol, but let us look at how we enjoy it. Let us assess how we drink alcohol, when we drink alcohol, and why we drink alcohol. That is the main issue or the main concept that should be guiding us to say, okay, we're having fun, but at this level, we are drinking alcohol, but responsibly. And to the young Botswana out there, we know it's hard times. We know it's really hard to make money. People are struggling at the moment, but please let us stay in the path of belief and hope that maybe someday there'll be a better tomorrow than there is today due to the current issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gisho?
Okay, I'd like to first of all thank you for giving us this platform to voice out our opinions on this matter, and I'd like to thank everyone for participating. But in conclusion, I'd say the young people should really just have self-control. Drink at home if you have to drink. Minimize your movement in general. Don't go out a lot. Other than that, let's just stay safe, keep social distancing, wear our masks, and really just make sure we don't endanger the people that we care about and love. So yeah, I'd say just stay safe and keep going. Don't be demoralized by everything that's going on. Just keep going.
Okay, thank you. Faith?
Okay, I'd like to say thank you for giving me this opportunity and everybody else this opportunity. This is actually a great platform. This is actually one of the ways that we can help young people or other people as well to learn more about alcohol. And I guess this is part of problem solving of misuse of alcohol in a way. So thank you so much for giving us this platform to air our views and hear other people's opinions as well. My last words to the young people or Botswana is that let us not only think about the now, drinking alcohol, thinking I want alcohol now, I want this now, I want what labung now or whatever. But let us also think about the future. Think about the people that we have at home, the old elderly people, the young people that are most vulnerable to COVID-19. In the beginning, people were doubting that there's COVID, but now we see that it's real and it's killing people. So let us not be one of the people who contribute to the alarming high rate of COVID-19 infections just because we decide to be ignorant and irresponsible. So leadership, it doesn't only have to be one in politics or wherever, but it starts with you leading yourself as an individual. Know self-control, like Gisho was saying, and also have this is a time that we should be self-introspecting and seeing how we can move forward and make our lives better in future, guys. So COVID, it might not end today, it might not end ever, it might be there just like HIV and AIDS, but we'll have to learn to live with it somewhat, somehow. So let us just be united and take care of each other and not be too selfish to think about the future and other people as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've come to the end, and the conclusion is that the important thing to do is to be in control of yourself, control your drinking, control your behavior, and have control over your life. Thank you for participating. Hi, we have come to the end of our first ever episode, and we hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like this video and share it. We'd like to thank all of our guests today for participating, and we hope you learned something from them.